Breaking news.
Drama! Yes, drama when it comes to Manchester United.
It's all kicking off.
Man United won't break the bank for him. And if Man United won't break the bank for him, they've got other targets.
Yes, people, morning. Welcome back to United View, man. Welcome to another transfer view. Hope you guys are doing well. Of course, we're back to talking football today on the channel. We all saw what happened yesterday. We all saw the footballing world coming together and the wider world and community coming together for the sad passing of Diogo Jota and his brother Andre. Really, really difficult day for so many yesterday. And a big shout out to the community yesterday about how we all handled that. Everyone being very respectful. There was a lot. I think somebody just said there wasn't a video here yesterday. It's private, etc., etc. Yes, it was. Obviously, in what happened when we were live, we all saw. We were just trying to work out what was going on, and the shock was kicking in. And it's probably not. It's not best to be live when those things are happening. So we just took the option. The decision, should I say, to sort of just kind of just out of respect, just not do any football content yesterday. It didn't quite feel right. I know it's different for the broadcasters and mainstream media. You know, I was on TalkSport in the evening taking loads of calls from football fans across the nation, which was a difficult show. But you know, so many people wanted to call in and pay their respects. But in the content space, we just decided to do it a little bit different. It didn't feel right. Felt best just to have a day of just, you know, a day out really of circulation of talking about football. Just didn't feel quite right. So our thoughts and prayers, and of course our sympathies are with everybody affected with what's happened to Diogo Jota and his brother Andre, his family, his friends, everybody at Liverpool Football Club, Wolves Football Club, Porto, all the clubs he's played for in his career. And like I say, actually the wider community, because what I learned yesterday, you know, especially on TalkSport, people calling in, is actually just how much this affected just people in general. Don't even watch football, you know. It's very triggering. There's people who have loved ones that may have passed in similar circumstances or suddenly, and just for people to be thankful for the loved ones that they have. So yeah, for everybody that it affected, we're all together and we're all with you. And we will get back to talking about football today, of course. But that's where we were yesterday. There's a few people in the chat that were saying what happened yesterday, etc., etc., which I knew you probably knew, but I just wanted to explain that and have our say on that, Owen.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, it's one of those stories. I mean, when I was getting ready this morning, you turn on just the news, not sport news, the news, and obviously it's one of those stories that sort of transcended sport because it's a loss of a life, isn't it? You know, and it's a tragic situation. You find out more details about obviously just getting married and, you know, what have you, and his family, and how, like you said, everyone's affected. And it's just very, very sad. And like you said yesterday with the video, we privated it because, you know, obviously we found out in real time live on the show. And it just then didn't feel right to be talking about, you know, trivial transfers, does it? Because things are more important, you know, your life, family, loved ones. And it's just a reminder that you never know what's around the corner, isn't it? So cherish life because you never know how long you've got, sort of situation. So yeah, very, 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 very sad.
100%, man. 100%. Right. But we are going to get back to talking about football today here on United View and talk about exits. Exits, man. We need exits. Of course, some are on the card, some maybe closer than others, but there has been a lot of talk regarding exits, sell-on clauses. Elanga's potentially moving to Newcastle United, so that could have an impact on us. There's a lot going on with the Sancho deal, but Rasmus Hojlund is at the top of the bill at the minute, and of course, there's still stuff going on with Marcus Rashford. So, Rasmus Hojlund, what's the deal? What's going on here?
Yeah, so obviously, like you were saying, exits are needed, and one could be Rasmus Hojlund, possibly. According to Chris Wheeler from the Daily Mail yesterday, I think Nathan Salt also wrote on this article, saying that Manchester United are listening to offers for Rasmus Hojlund, but most of the inquiries for him so far have been over loan moves. There is concrete interest from Inter Milan, which may develop into a permanent transfer / loan with an obligation to buy. But of course, the issue is that Manchester United only want a permanent deal. But as is the case with a lot of the players we do have under contract that we're trying to sell, because of circumstances, fees involved. It's sort of looking loan to obligation or option to buy-ish. I think obviously because of what happened with Sancho over the last season as well. Manchester United are particularly weary of all of that because, as we found out, there's kind of no such thing as an obligation. It's just the devil is truly in the detail when it comes to what is actually written down on paper with all of these clauses. But with Hojlund, I mean, it's interesting, actually, just with the Hojlund stuff in general, because obviously there's a lot of chatter about John Duran going to Fenerbahce. And I don't know if you saw this. And they were sort of saying that actually Man United were offered Duran on a loan, but effectively they said, look, it's too expensive. And also United didn't kind of like the idea of potentially bringing in someone that wasn't going to be around for was only going to be around for just a year. And then, maybe go somewhere else. I don't know. Does that make you concerned of just still with this striker situation with Hojlund, and then they were offered Duran, but they went, it's not the right fit, and all that kind of stuff? That are they still figuring out who that striker's going to be?
Who profile wise, yeah. Well, I do think, or maybe not just figuring out who it's going to be. Maybe they just know it's not Duran. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying I wouldn't have John Duran if they said they were going to get him on a loan. I wouldn't be angry. But if they do have certain targets, maybe that it's like, no, we want to hang around for Gyökeres. We're trying to get him, or we're trying to get Watkins. Like, we've decided that's our A and B. I think Osimhen hasn't really been a thing, has it? Really, let's be honest. So I just think that it's less that they don't have a clue who it is, and more so that, Gyökeres, Watkins, we're here now. Duran, did that become available? Like you said, they were offered, and they maybe just discussed it and just thought, not really sure. We have seen, because in the case of Duran, it is an interesting one, because again, sometimes we don't like talking about things in context properly, right? And Duran burst onto a scene, and as purple patches go, and it's not even really a purple patch, it's just the beginning of his career, right? Smashing it off the bench. But he kind of shot to stardom, like we said, without even starting 10 games for Villa. Like, we have no idea what he's like as the main man, which doesn't mean definitely don't buy him because he's rubbish or it 100% won't work. But what I'm saying is he's younger than Rasmus, isn't he? Like, there's a lot of pressure there. He must be younger than 22, surely. Is he 21?
He's 21. 21.
Right,
21,
so just
22
younger.
in December. Yeah.
Okay, so probably the year below Rasmus in school. Yeah, but you know what I mean? He's even more unproven than Rasmus Hojlund. But that doesn't mean he can't be better than him, because the eye test would suggest he is. But we have to be careful saying, go get John Duran. Go get John Duran. That's the one. Make him the main guy. But like I said, if it was a loan to the end of the season, that's using the resource as well, not committing. Have a look what it's like. But
I'm just looking at the, when we do the whole
Oh
capology
yeah,
with these clubs, and I just did capology for Al Nassr. Good grief. Good grief.
That's not wise to do it for Al Nassr.
Oh my goodness. John Duran is on £331,000 a week. So he earns more, £331,000 a week. Just some of these other names. Marcelo Brozovic is on nearly £400,000 a week.
Brozovic.
Yeah. Aymeric Laporte is the same, just under £400,000 a week. Sadio Mane is on £650,000 a week. Cristiano Ronaldo, bear in mind he's just signed his new contract, is on £3.2 million a week.
That's mad when you see the real numbers in it, like the actual
£3.2 million a week.
What's their wage bill a week? What's their wage?
Oh my goodness me! Like, it's that's mad. Otavio's how you say his name. He's on over £200,000 a week. But like John Duran, like you said, he didn't start like 10 games for Aston Villa or what have you, and it's £331,000 a week. And I don't know what the situation would have been in terms of like Man United of like, are you expected to pick up, some of that? Because even some of that would make him like one of the highest earners at the club. You know what I mean? If he picked up all of that, he'd be right at the top. So again, you go financially good, but then
he's going Fenerbahce.
Fenerbahce. So what? Yeah. So they're not paying him that amount of money. So
No.
how is that going to
I think
work
you
out?
got we don't think of it the opposite way of, so we're used to loans of like, oh mate, you need to get that player out, get most of their wages off so that you can move on. You got to remember, if that's the type of wages you're reading off the list, you have to remember that if he's on 300 grand a week, so he goes to Fenerbahce, I think the Saudi teams, when they loan players, will be the opposite of how when we loan. It'll be like, well, he is on 300. We can take 100 off, still pay him 200 a week to be on loan. But like Fenerbahce pay him 100k. Do you know what I mean? Like, whereas when in this continent, when we're trying to get players out, it's we need the buying club or the loanee club to like pay most of the wages. But the Saudis, I think, if it's going wrong there, it seems like they've got the money to be like, well, we were paying him 300k a week. We're only have to pay him 180 now because they're going to pick up 120. Like, it's
Ronaldo.
crazy.
Think of that with Ronaldo as well. Like
Crazy,
base
man.
salary is £3.2 million a week.
Madness,
That's
man.
just football.
Not even goal bonuses, sponsorships,
bonuses, outside investments, brand deals. The fact that he's Cristiano Ronaldo, you know what I mean?
Mad.
Just wealth that he's built up over a 20+ year career. Like, oh my God.
Crazy, isn't it? It's crazy.
And
crazy.
also, like, according to the reports, like he's basically deciding who they're buying and all that kind of stuff. It's crazy. £3.2 million a week. I just checked out of curiosity, like what Messi was on Inter Miami, and he's allegedly £171,000 a week. But I remember seeing things of going like, well, the MLS are involved in that, and I think Apple were involved in that because they've got a broadcasting contract. So who knows? Who knows?
It definitely ain't
Oh,
3.2 million a week though.
Yeah,
it's mad,
It's
don't it?
just-
Because Messi could just say, you know what, this MLS thing's been good. I know I read that he's happy to maybe stay there, but he could just be like, I want to go Saudi now. Imagine that, them two, and say, oh my God, and say, I want more than Ronaldo. I want 3.5. And he get it.
And what's mad is Ronaldo turned down going to Al Hilal, didn't he, just to play in the Club World Cup?
Yeah.
He was like,
No,
Yeah.
Al Nassr's for me, mate. Dexter, big up to you for the contribution. Thank you, bro. Dwayne says, morning, peeps. Happy 4th. If you're in the USA. Oh, yeah, it's the 4th of July today.
Yeah, 4th of July.
Yeah, big up to everybody
Fireworks and
celebrating.
barbecues.
Yeah, big up. Happy 4th of July. Happy 4th of July to everybody out there in the States, like Dwayne says. I'm getting coaching badges in a few weeks. The plan is to join the Nashville coaching staff. We hope, fingers crossed, we hope. Good luck. Good luck and well done.
Good luck.
Getting your coaching badges in a few weeks, bro. Big up to you. Show says with all the bonuses, CR7 is actually on 1 million a day.
Probably for something like that, you know what I mean? It's just...
Liam Kerr, been a member for 35 months. Big up to you. Liam says, love to all following the sad news yesterday. I'm so proud of UV and the wider football community for the compassion and respect shown. 100%. We all share that. And Matt says, also Ronaldo has been given co-ownership, as part of the new deal. It's just mental. Co-ownership, mad. But back to Rasmus, because that's we went off on a tangent because of Duran. I just think they're trying again, like we are with loads, trying to offload. And we spoke about this on a couple of days ago now, when I was saying like we can know all along like what we need to do, but like, the reality of trying to move these players on was always going to be this. It's not like, oh, you've got here now and now you can't sell them. No. When it was in January, February, March, etc., when we're starting to turn our attention towards the summer, and he needs to go. He's on loan. What's going to happen? It was the same situation then. It's the same situation, Yeah. And we might not be in a situation. I saw Arsenal mutually terminated Tomiyasu's deal today or yesterday. Getting a lot of injuries, struggling. He had a contract till 2026 with an option to extra year, but they all agreed, nah, listen. Some people say, hey, why don't we be as ruthless as that and stuff? But, Tomiyasu, probably the wages he's on, the payout it'll be.
And he does do it with 5 players.
Exactly.
I mean,
it's just not something we're going to be able to do. That I was thinking about that. We're not going to be able to cut any of our play, like do that to any of them, really, are they? Because they're just too big an asset.
Well, like we said, I think it is just going to be one of those ones where, and again, we don't want to hear this, but it's probably the reality of it, is where it's just going to go down to really late in the window because it's a game of chicken. That's it. It's a game of chicken whereby, well, you're going to leave or I'm not going to register in your squad. All right, I'm just going to sit here on my contract. And it gets a couple of days and they go, well, do we actually need him in the squad? And the player goes, actually, I really don't want to be here for like a couple of months. Like, can we sort this out? I need to play.
I'll go anywhere.
World Cup.
That's when it starts.
Then stuff starts to happen. So yeah, it's a game of chicken. Speaking of Arsenal, did you see Gabriel Hensey? He's joined Arteta's coaching staff.
Yes. Yeah.
What a turncoat.
Yeah, I know.
How dare he?
Disgrace.
How
Disgrace
dare
to the
he?
cheats.
Yes.
I know. Exactly. I saw that. So it's just so random. Popped on the town. I was like, oh, that's random.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Gabriel Heinze, big him up. I remember when he joined. Decent
me
player.
too.
Decent player, man.
He's a good player, but it kind of sucks. He wanted to go to Liverpool, didn't he?
Yeah, it just went from there. So really, we shouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, exactly.
But listen, job to job. He's got to do what he's got to do post football, mate. He's not a United legend or anything. You know what I mean? It's what it is.
Exactly.
So yeah, I see that. But Rasmus, I mean, look, it's just, it's gone so bad for Rasmus, hasn't it? Can I ask you a question about Rasmus, right? And you guys. Every person I speak to, neutral, Rasmus, he's the worst, isn't it? He's probably one of the worst signings you've ever had. Shocking. One of the worst players. Like just really going in. Is he as bad as we think he is? Or has he just lost his way a little bit, his circumstance? Or he's just terrible, a rubbish, terrible footballer?
No, because this is what we always do, don't we? Do it with a lot of United players. We're like, these guys are just awful. Then they'll go and they'll do all right elsewhere. Rasmus Hojlund's not awful. He's not terrible. He's not good enough. We absolutely massively overspent. Atalanta, I'd never do business with him again, Fleck. I'm mad. It's not bad. For what? Like we're getting linked to like the goalkeeper or Edison midfielder, and you're going, no, wait, I wouldn't want to show my face. Even at the negotiating table, how could you? For how much we paid. I do feel for him in the sense that, when we were linked to him first, it was like, oh, he's going to cost 40 million, and he's going to be a backup to the proper senior striker, to the senior number 9. And like with a lot of things with Man United, we failed the player, but the player also failed us. There's culpability on both sides of it. It's just not worked out, and he just needs to get away from United. He can't be the starting striker for what Ruben Amorim wants him to do as well. Because again, it goes back to system. For what Ruben Amorim wants him to do, he can't do. He can't do it. And actually, what we have noticed is the more he tries to adapt to what Amorim wants to do, the worse he looks. His touch isn't great. He just likes to wrestle. If he's got to play with his back to goal, he will wrestle. He's just not that striker that can bring people involved, get involved in play. He can't hold it up. That's not him. Under Ten Hag, when he was scoring goals and did well, he was playing on the shoulder, making half decent runs in behind. And like of any striker, if you've got good service into the box, you're going to likely to score more goals. But he's just not ready for it yet. So I think he needs to move on. Would he do well at Inter? Well, the thing is now, we don't really know what formation Inter are going to play because obviously Inzaghi's just gone. If you said if Inzaghi had stayed, you could say, no, I'm playing in a 2 with, Martinez or Thuram or whoever. You go, oh, he's got more people around him, creating chances. That could maybe work for him. I don't know how they're going to play now, Inter. But yeah, he was infuriating at points last season. I mean, do you remember? Was it Chelsea at Stamford Bridge? I think we did the game together, didn't we? Yeah. He was shocking. He was really. There was one at Craven Cottage. Remember where he just spent the whole game.
Oh no, Craven Cottage was
couldn't hold up the ball, and then. In the second half, one got fired in to Raul Jimenez, and he literally just took a touch, laid it off, and you went, "Oh yeah, that's not like I'll tell you what, Premier League, that's elite level." You go, "No, you taught that at like Sunday League, big guy plays up front, take a touch, lay it off to the quick people." Like just.
But I do remember in the first year, which is weird, those things weren't as evident as they were this year. Do you see what I'm saying?
Was that because of the system?
I think because of the system, 100%. This system exposed his weaknesses even more. Because last year, again, a bit more transitional. The games were a bit more end-to-end. He could run in behind a lot more. Not last year before with Ten Hag. And again, we ended that season. I remember, we can't rewrite history. We ended that season where we finished 8th. Rasmus' first season, 16 goals in all competitions. And you went, and he did have, don't get me wrong, we can't forget where he couldn't hit a barn door for the first, however many months. And then he couldn't score for ages. And then he had a really condensed period of scoring loads. Then he got injured. And then it went back to sort of being in and out of the team until we got up to the FA Cup final. And he didn't even start the FA Cup final. So I just think the style definitely didn't help. All the changes, and then the pressure that, Rasmus even being there, put in that position to be the main guy, that price tag, and he's not there yet. Profile wise, he's not there. He's so raw and rough around the edges. Nobody to learn off, nobody to guide him. Just sinking every week, just sinking further and further. And I think that ends up looking like that encompasses what we saw. Just a player just ending up being out of his depth, who now again has been Man United painted. And it's like, you need to get out of this environment now and restart your career. That's what it looks like for me.
And also, it's one of those ones of him where, again, we kind of have to keep the same energy sometimes with these players, because, like you said, in that first season, he did get those goals, but they were kind of in bunches, weren't they? And
it wasn't consistent at all.
It was hot streak, and then you and we're the first to criticise people like Rashford going, when he had his great season, when he scored 30 goals, going, yeah, but that was only over a condensed period of was it November to April? That was it. And at Man United, you need more than just bunches, don't you? You need to. It can't be that erratic up and down. But then that's the problem with a young player. It's always going to be up and down. It goes back to we do give young players way too much too soon. We sort of idolize them so quickly. I mean, the moment that Cobby, Garnacho, and Hojlund were sitting on the advertising hoard, and be like, this is the next. This is it. And then we're talking about a reality where 2/3 of them could be gone this summer, in the space of about 18 months. And that probably just completely summarizes the issue at Man United over the last however many years, which is, if you show a little bit, we'll just do anything for you. And actually, then everyone's going to end up getting hurt by that, because we've not been wise there. We're very all in straight away, aren't we?
Yeah.
This is it. They're going to be the guy. Give them the contract. Give them the money. Give them the number. Give them the shirt. Give them this. Give them that. And it's like
everything. Yeah,
everything. And then when it doesn't work out inevitably, or when it goes up and down because they're young players, we're like, they're fucking rubbish. And you're like, well, maybe they're young. Maybe they shouldn't have been put in that position in the first place. So it's a failure on the club, and it's also a failure on the player too. It's like people said with the Cobby one. Even when Cobby was playing well, people were worrying, going 18 months' time when he dips in form, which he has this season, didn't have a very good season, injuries. Suddenly it's, is he actually good enough? And he's asking for more on his contract. How good is he? Sure, yeah, exactly. Should we give it? And we find ourselves in the same repetitive sort of pattern, don't we?
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be fascinating. But the main fact of it is, like I said, to finish off on Rasmus, is that the reports are saying, started off from Laurie Whittle when he said, he's closer to leaving than he is staying. Chris Wheeler sort of saying there is concrete interest in Rasmus, so it's not like nobody wants him. But again, we could be looking at once more another loan, which you're just not sure how much that helps us. Can offset some wages for a year, gives you a bit more wiggle room. But is it loan for loans? Do we need to get creative with loans then if we start loaning out a load more because we couldn't sell as much as we thought? Yeah. Or does it just not help us at all? We'll have to wait and see on that one. Where are we at in the chat here? Ronaldo, Gikko and shit. I think we've got to Dwayne. I'm not going to lie. We might need him to stay for the pecking order, because if he's sold, we got to get 2. It's looking kind of scary, bro. 1 in, 1 out. Don't work for strikers. But you have got Xerxes there, though. You have got Xerxes. So I think if you sold Rasmus and went and bought a striker, I'd be happy with the new striker, whoever it is. Yeah, I'll be happy with the striker of who it is, let's just say.
Yeah.
Ollie Watkins, or I don't know. Whoever it is.
We got rid of him, but we brought in Calvert-Lewin, so it's fine. Free transfer, last day of the window.
Don't. Or Nicholas Jackson. There's an opportunity. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'll be happy with exactly. So I'll be happy with, depending on who it is, with the sentiment of that happening and Xerxes being backup striker, also backup 10
But
squad player.
I just can't have Xerxes as backup striker. Like I can, as long as we're basically saying then we're not having him to score goals because we're judging him on two different things, aren't we?
Yeah,
we're judging Hojlund on scoring goals because they're like, all right, he's got to be a number 9 score goals. But Xerxes, if we're judging him on scoring goals, then we're already going to fail them because he's not going to score.
He's not going to score tons. No, but that's why I don't mind as a backup striker because you got the main one, and with this team that we look like we're constructing with Mbeumo, Cunha, then you're going to have Ahmad can play there in the 10, Kobe can play in the 10, Mount can play in the 10. Like to me, it's getting more stacked in that area, and I think Xerxes with better players in that front three, if he has to play a false 9, look after the ball, knit play together, he can give us 8 to 10. 8 to 11
yeah,
goals.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
where he doesn't have to be the main guy, as long as you go and get the main guy. I agree.
That's what I mean. I think it's just more. We have to sort of determine what we're going to judge them on going into, because if we go into it going, if it's all right, we don't need to get a striker because Xerxes is playing there. We're making a conscious decision of, well, he's not going to. We're not judging him on goals. So he's not going to score that many goals.
He can't be the main guy.
The pressure then goes on. Mbeumo, Cunha, like, all right, they're scoring goals. If a striker comes in, let's say it's a Gyökeres or whoever, they go, right, well, we're judging him on goals, not how he sort of knits the play together. So there's always going to be different criteria, isn't there? And actually, the makeup of the team, depending on who we get, is going to look totally different. That front three, like I said, if it is like, okay, well, it's Xerxes and Cunha and Mbeumo, suddenly that front three looks very different to if it's Cunha, Mbeumo and Gyökeres, because suddenly the function is very different.
And you might see them stop it. You might see Mbeumo spend time in the false 9 and Xerxes drop off into a 10 position. Or, Cunha might spend some more time a little bit further forward than he was at Wolves, and Xerxes drops into the 10 and lets him run beyond. You just don't know what it's going to look like if, once we get these players, hopefully we get these players over the line. Max says, the thing about Hojlund is he symbolises how bad we've been at cultivating young talent. He's regressed, and it's partly on him, but United also at fault. 100%, exactly that. He comes as a raw young player who, again, he comes there rough around the edges because he's not quite ready yet. Forget the price tag, and he does, again, numbers-wise, does 16 in the first season. You go, you know what? That kid's he's something to build upon. That's it. At the end of last season before, sorry, it wasn't get that kid out. Oh my God, he is the worst thing. It was, we'll go again next year. We'll see. We do need another striker. We need to get another striker. Last year, obviously, we came back with Xerxes in the end, but we needed another striker then because we thought he needs help. He'll be all right with some help, and we go again. But yeah, again, United messed it up. Rory C says, Rasmus was wrestling all season. Do you think Amorim asked him to do that or not? If not, why couldn't Amorim get him to stop?
I think there were points where, because we did see this, if there was an opportunity to play Xerxes over Hojlund,
he did.
He would. He came to that conclusion. But then Xerxes got injured, and then also it was, well, we've got a lot of games. We're focusing on Europa, but we're also playing a lot of Premier League games, and so we've got to rotate. So this season, if he were to stay, that would have been an interesting one because there could just be a situation we just don't play. Because one game a week, there's no need to rotate. Yeah, we got 3 game in 3 days,
doesn't
4 games or whatever. No, so yeah, I don't know. It's just not worked out. It's not worked out. I don't think like Amorim goes right, wrestle. I just think that's if Hojlund's playing with his back to goal. I think that's all he can think about doing because he can't control the ball. So as long as he occupies the centre back, he's doing something. He's busy, but. It just results in them both being on the floor and giving the ball away.
It does. It's not great. It's not. Glenn C says, yes, we did massively overpay on Rasmus, but does it help when people keep saying 72 million, mate? When 8 million of those are add-ons? Yeah, we can get into semantics. It's true. Like we haven't paid 70 million. It's even if it was bloody, 65 million or whatever it is up front, whatever the thing is.
So a lot.
It's we've paid way too much. Yeah. It's got that bad this season for Rasmus that even if we'd paid 30 million for him, people would be saying, right, well, we tried the low cost thing, that just didn't work, not good enough, got to go.
Yeah.
They wouldn't be saying like, oh, it's a bargain, just keep it. No. It doesn't matter. Like, take the price out of it. Like, price can make it worse, but it's not been good enough.
if we'd have signed it for 25 million, people would be going, look, that's what 25 million worth of talent gets you. That gets you that.
Yeah.
That's what they'd be saying.
Exactly.
And like they still be saying it's not good enough. So
Yeah.
you're right. It just adds to it.
It does. Tab says training on Monday and no Mbwems as of today.
There's still time. Tabrez, just got to believe. Where's the believe button? I can't even find it. Well, basically,
that's how much you believe.
It ain't been fucking good enough.
No, yeah,
no. So he's Owen. Let's be real. Unfortunately, Owen, just let it go, man. He's not going to be there Monday in training, bro. Of course he's not. Like he's not.
There's still time.
There isn't time. There isn't time. There isn't time.
There is still time.
It's finished. He's not going to be there on Monday.
Still time.
You know this as well. You just don't want to be wrong.
Still time.
You'd better watch out.
Yeah.
Why? Who's coming? He's on their way. Why should we watch out?
We're gonna do this.
We're not though. We're not going to do this, are we? We're not going to do this by Monday. It's a lie.
Red flag.
And you are a massive red flag, yeah, because absolutely you're right. It's not going to happen, and there are red flags being waved because he's not coming by Monday. Tell you that much. So, do you want to just concede that?
Oh, no, sorry.
You are okay. That's fine. He spoke through soundboard. He's communicated through soundboard what his feelings are.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Apology accepted. No problem. Apology accepted. It's a good person to do that. Catch the Deal says the media often dictates Man United's actions, but the club's financial constraints limit significant signings without contract compensation. Thank you, Catch the Deal. Big up to you. And Dwayne says we need a multi-club ownership model loophole. Biggest loophole, sorry. Try and just sell some players to bloody Nice or do something. Lucene or whoever it is, just try and do some stuff. Right. Where are we at likes-wise? What's going on here? What's going on? 279. And we've got just under 1,500 people watching and counting as well. So big up to each and every single one of you. Don't forget, like up the video. Right. Elanga sell-on fee. We need money. We need anything.
We're going to make some money. Yeah.
We're going
to make some money, Fleck. Can you believe it? So David Ornstein yesterday dropped the siren and said Newcastle were pushing to secure the signing of Anthony Elanga, Fleck's son, from Nottingham Forest. Putting a bid in of more than £50 million plus bonuses. It's around sort of £55 million, they're sort of saying. Laurie Whitwell then said that Anthony Elanga, the transfer, would net Manchester United some money due to a substantial salon clause worth more than £5 million, depending on the final fees. Now, it's kind of been a bit disputed as to just how much money it would actually be, how much Man United would actually receive. Nathan Salt and others are sort of suggesting that the salon clause is about 20%. Man United could earn around £8 million if the move goes through. I would assume, again, it's pure profit. He's an academy player. So the suggestion is that, again, it's a sort of £55 million for Anthony Elanga, which, look.
Wow, that's crazy, man. 2 years
That's
later.
A lot of money. That's a lot. 55.
If Anthony
they're struggling in this window.
Million.
Aren't
So what's Garnacho then? João Pedro's 50 million. Anthony Elanga's 50 million.
The window's suddenly got quite inflated, hasn't it? Because, like you said, if João Pedro's going for that amount, if Anthony Elanga is going for £55 million, then naturally, lots of clubs when they're negotiating will go, Elanga 55 million. So this guy's worth at least the same or more. The irony could be is maybe that we'll negotiate him from Mbumo. Maybe that 8 million is just a little bit extra. That's what we need to do. Just to be like, get that deal over the line by Monday.
We'll accept it with
maybe.
No, you've already apologized for that. Don't try and no.
Oh, sorry.
Good. If you're sorry, mean it. So don't do it again. Yeah.
So maybe, So 55 million for Elanga. And look, last season they had a good season with Nottingham Forest. 55 million quid. We sold him for 15.
Crazy, man. Wow. That's crazy, isn't it? Like, it just shows you, innit, what happens within a couple of years.
Who's done more in the Premier League? Alejandro Garnacho or Anthony
Well,
Elanga?
I'm just gonna do that now, actually, to factually get it right.
Because obviously Elanga's older.
Yeah, he's older, but he still didn't get a lot of time at Man United, did he? Let's go to all seasons, and then we'll go to Premier League for all competitions. Premier League for my son Anthony. So Elanga in the Premier League has played 113 times for both teams, and scored 14 goals and got 23 assists.
Whereas Garnacho has played 93 times in the Premier League. So Elanga's played more games, but Garnacho scored 16 goals, got 10 assists. So he scored more goals in less games than Anthony Elanga in the Premier League. And he's
has
younger.
Half the assists, but he's younger.
Yeah, but he's younger.
So see,
so if Elanga's 55 million, then you would say then Garnacho should be at least 60. 60,
but this
65?
is the thing. People went, and he's done that in 5 seasons. Elanga's been playing in the league. Don't get me wrong, his first Premier League season, he made two appearances. Then he made 21, then 16 for us.
And again,
he played all the games for
this is what we start doing. This is what we start doing then as well, because we don't like Garnacho at the moment. He's
exactly.
Elanga's clear. Elanga's clear, and you go, well, actually, no. Well, to sort of suggest, like Show saying, to sort of suggest that they're not at least par. And if you're saying that Elanga's £55 million, a younger player with potentially more potential, and has played at a bigger club for longer, you would say at least in 60, at least in 60 plus add-ons.
And he's played a lot, and he's played a lot in Europe as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's just Premier League, because Elanga would probably only be, obviously Forest weren't in any other competitions apart from domestically, obviously. So he's playing that. Garnacho, I know. Listen, my son Anthony, I was there. My son broke onto the scene. You know what I mean? Against Atletico. You know, I was there. Spoke to him afterwards. But Garnacho's got a lot more experience playing in Europe. Do you know what I mean? He's won the FA Cup, scored in the final. Like, these things matter. Stop downplaying Garnacho just because he's annoyed us. Played for Argentina. Obviously, you know, Anthony Elanga is a Swedish international as well. But yeah, he's played for Argentina. He's trying to cement himself in there. So yes, Merenti could say Elanga is better now and stuff like that. But you have to look at what Jamie Gittins.
Yeah,
Jamie Gittins, 100% show. 55 million. He's only just getting going now at Dortmund. Only just. Hasn't lit it up like that. Good young player, on the up, quick as hell. But again, hasn't done anything near what Garnacho's done. Not Premier League proven. Loads of question marks. 55 million. So, come on, man. We have to stop downplaying our players into just because we think they're just so bad and just get out of my club. I'll take a packet of Walker's for you and a chocolate bar. Like, no. Do you know what I mean? Like, we have to get real, man.
By the way, we're talking about exits of wingers and what have you. Marcus Rashford to Barcelona might be very, very on. Very, very on.
Wow,
the reason I say that, because Athletic Bilbao have just announced that Nico Williams has signed a new contract.
Again!
To 2035. On top of that, his release clause has increased by more than 50%. Basically, Nico Williams, he signed like a 10-year contract.
Who's saying this, Ornstein or Romano?
No, Athletic Bilbao have announced it. They've
just announced it. They're not playing.
They've 10-year contract extension. His release clause has increased by more than 50%. That says to me, Marcus Rashford to Barcelona.
Here we go.
I'll say it. I'll say it, because suddenly Nico Williams, he's not going to Barca, he's not going to Bayern. And if you were Manchester United and you were negotiating with Barcelona, you'd say, hey, you were willing to spend some money on Nico Williams. We all saw you were willing to spend some money on Nico Williams. So don't tell me you don't have it. Don't tell me you don't have the money to spend on Marcus Rashford, because you were going to spend it on Nico Williams and then you were going to get Rashford in on loan just because you couldn't afford a permanent. Well, Williams isn't going anywhere now. He's had a new contract, 10 years, 10-year extension, and his release clause has increased more than 50%. So he's not going anywhere. You've got that money left over there. Press the button again. Owen.
Here we go.
Pay it up. Pay it up. Rashford to Barca, make a dream come true. It's like a Disney movie, Fleck. Everyone gets a happy ending. Not like that.
He's so... Oh, my days. That's crazy. That's insane. I'm looking on their website. I can't see it though, but that's not website. Sorry, their Twitter.
I'll send it
Wow.
you in the private chat.
Yeah, send me that. Wow, that's crazy. That is crazy. Is that definitely the right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is 1 million
Got 1 million
followers.
followers.
Yeah. Translate post. Commits his heart. I look at them, and his release clause will increase by more than 50%. The way that, oh my days. Let's have reached an agreement to extend his contract, which was due to expire in 2027, for 8 seasons until 35.
10 years.
Bro, that's 10 years.
Yeah, 10 years. That's what I was saying, Fleck.
They've just given him a 10-year. What's Nico Williams think? Is there any quotes from him? When decisions have to be made, for me, what weighs most is the heart. I'm where
He's
I want to be
22
with
and
my
he's staying
people. This is my
until
home.
until he's 32.
Super athletic. Declared Nico Williams in the video in which the club announces renewal. What? That's crazy. 10. He's nailed on to go to Barca. Wow. That's he must be on some serious money, but serious though, man. That's to turn down Barcelona and the prospect of playing with your best mate, Lamine. It looks so nailed on. Like him signing the contract last year was like fair play. He's been loyal to that club, you know. He could get an extra year out of it. You know, then it just secures some money for Athletic when they want to sell him. But then it's got to this, and it's almost like Barca trying to bully their way to it. We got the backing of La Liga. We're doing this. And they were saying, I was reading things that Athletic were like, we'd rather him go to Bayern. Do not let him go Bayern. Barca, they do this all the time. They locked him down until 2035. And casually dropped that his release clause increases by more than 50% of what it had. What was it before?
Well, I suppose as well, because, you know, like sometimes you can sign a new contract, but like a bit like with the Cunha one, you can sign a contract, but release clause goes in. So it's basically like, well, we're paying him to stay for another year, but he's going to go next year. This is like he's staying for a decade, and also he ain't going anywhere because the only way you can get him is by release clause, and that's got up by over 50%. So, yeah, Rashford this morning, go do it. Go do it, mate. 40 million pounds, Barcelona.
Shit, so it's gone to basically just under 120 because it's 58 before. Jeez, release clause. Wow. Yeah, Rashford's agents now. Oh my god, they're going to be doing double time on that phone to Deco, saying, "Listen, make it happen. We don't care. Make it happen."
Brian and Bumo by Monday.
Here we go.
No.
I take back my.
Oh, sorry.
No
more.
So
I take it back. I take it back.
Okay.
That's crazy. We're playing a game of dominoes here, Fleck, and they've just flipped the first one down. That's what's happened. That's not how you play dominoes, but the dominoes.
It's not. But
point.
Yeah, I get your point. Is there a chance? Oh, hold on. Let's go back up a little bit, actually. There you go. Dexter Twitch says, United giving me a sick feeling because I can't manage a season like the last one. We need players and we need them fast. Yes, it is. It's not great. Plenty says, let's put it another way. If he had scored massive of goals, everyone would be saying 64 million bargain. It's selective use of prices. That's my point. If you do the job, no one cares about the price. Tabra says, is there a chance Garnacho plays for us again? I don't think so. I don't think so. No.
It's pretty wild to be like, cussed out in front of the squad. You better pray you find a new club, and then prayer doesn't work.
And then the way he acted afterwards shows me that probably was said, and he's like, "Sod this! Like I don't care.
Yeah.
Like I say what I want, do what I want," because I think he knows he's going. Dwayne says it's because of how the fans are treating Nico. He had to back out. Those fans are brutal to him every day. He had to back out. What the Athletic fans? What you think? They've like summoned him there, make him like Gerrard thing.
Bilbao
He's gonna go
Ultras.
Chelsea.
Bilbao
Yeah.
Ultras. They can't.
Said you ain't leaving, mate. You ain't leaving.
Mm.
Brentford says, Jason says Brentford asking 65 million for Brian Mbeumo is very reasonable because let's be honest, he's a far better player than Elanga and Gittins.
That's what I'm saying. The market's inflated, isn't it?
100%.
Yeah, market's absolutely inflated at the moment. No doubt about that.
Jason also says Athletic Club don't need the money because they only buy players from that region. Yeah, they've got a very interesting
model. Do you think with Rashford with the Barca thing? Do you think when Trent did that press conference and he was speaking in Spanish, do you think Rashford thought, shit, like that's going to be? Has he been spending the last? Because if he knew since December that he wanted to go to Barca, then you would say, mate, you've had 7 months. Learn Spanish.
Yeah, maybe
you should do the same. Maybe you should do the same.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's something similar happened, to be fair.
But the irony is, we wouldn't have the same reaction as Liverpool fans to like that happen. We'd be like, fair play,
absolutely not.
Yeah. Well done.
Absolutely not. And he would be going on a free. Well, no, he wouldn't be going a free. We'll probably sell him eventually if he does go to Barcelona. Eventually, if it was a loan with an option obligation, whatever. But
I don't want a loan now. Loans off the table, mate.
Yeah,
loans
they've got
off
money.
The table. You've got the money. You've got the
That's
money.
true.
For Nico Williams. Yeah.
40 million. But it's just the wages, though, isn't it? They've given Nico Williams 300 grand a week.
Fabrizio Romano has just said Barcelona deal off with the Williams one due to registration issues. But they have registration issues with every transfer, don't they? When Danny Olmo.
Well, so he's acted like that move fell through, and then
Romano's just said, breaking, Nico Williams signs new long-term deal at Athletic Club until June 2035. The agreement includes new release clause for plus 50% compared to the €58 million previous one and salary increase. Barcelona deal off due to registration issues. It's not necessarily due to registration issues. It's due to the fact he got a contract for a decade, I'm not sure. I mean, to be fair as well, Fabrizio's got some stick recently. I don't know if you've seen this. For being a bit pro Barca, a bit pro Yamal. Like Yamal, I think he did like an Instagram story or something like that, and Fabrizio tweeted it, and he'd screen grabbed it within like 13 seconds.
Who screen grabbed it? Oh,
Fabrizio. It was like Yamal news story, and it was like 13 seconds ago that Yamal had put it on his story. Everyone's like 13 seconds. That's quick.
But the thing is, it's the direction that he's given the people that work for him, obviously, because he's a massive brand now. So he's probably got a social media, not probably, he will have a social media team 24 hours that are just there, paid a lot of money to just be doing that with all of the big footballers and just engaging with their posts and whatnot. I don't think, obviously gets a lot of stick, but I don't think he cares, mate. He's the biggest. No, in terms of like what he generates now, like he don't care. No. But I think he's pivoted away from just the art of just breaking pure exclusive and the journalism side of it to he's like a cult figure himself now, isn't he? Like
he's like a it's like entertainment, isn't it? It's like you like some people just they like the entertainment on the timeline, you know what I mean? And the saga that comes with it. As much as some fans obviously get tired by the saga, especially if you're a fan of a club and you're looking for a player to sign, and it's every day like, I don't care about this. And people really like it.
And everybody's still engaged. Everyone's still, no one's unfollowing him. It's not, we all still follow him. It's not like, he's so thick, because mate, he can still drop a here we go that you need to know about. Yeah.
And like I said, he does his on deadline day, does his streams and stuff like that, doesn't he? So, yeah, fair play. I mean, carved out what a niche he carved out for himself.
Exactly. I respect it. Like, I don't get me wrong. Yeah, you can choose to not engage with him as much as you used to because you go, what he is now versus what he is when I first started following him however many years ago. That's fine. That's the evolution of people, isn't it? But it is what it is. It is what it is, man. People make their own decisions. Athletic Club need the... Oh, yeah, I've read that one already. Sancho. Let's talk about Sancho.
Yes, Jadon Sancho, the latest to a possible move to Juventus, or as some people say, Juventus. I'll always love it when people go Juventus.
Juve.
Is he going to do well at Inter and at Juventus? Juventus' position, according to Fabrizio, has not changed. They cannot cover Jadon Sancho's full salary. So if there's no change in salary expectations, it will be difficult. is what Fabrizio says. Well, if that is the case, then deal off, because Sancho's not going to change his salary.
Registration problems.
So it's already been established that he's not going to drop his salary. So, like we said, there's going to have to be at some point with Jadon Sancho, there's going to have to be a concession made, isn't there? It's going to be so like you could have gone to Turkey and they said they were happy to pay your salary, so you can go there, but you don't want to go there. Saudi would be happy to pay your salary and some, but you don't want to go there. The places you do want to go aren't willing to pay your salary. So what do you want? What do you want? Because you're gonna have to make some kind of either go somewhere you don't want to go, or take a pay cut. You didn't want to take a pay cut at Chelsea, fine, but this idea that there's lots of other places that would be willing to pay you the contract that you've got at United, which of course we now know is a silly contract. What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
The problem we've got, and this is why it's so hard to sell the players or move them on, not only just because of the thing that we know, which is they haven't had a great time, so their stock has fallen. That's one thing. Second thing, obviously, the amount of money that they're on, etc. But the third thing of what makes it hard is that all these other clubs and the player themselves, they're happy to wait. They're happy to wait. So we wanted to, because we want to do things early. So we wanted Jadon Sancho gone by now, so there's money. We wanted Rashford gone by now, so there's money. We wanted Garnacho gone by now, so there's money. Rasmus Hojlund gone by now, so there's money. Anthony, same thing. Malacia. We'd love to have sold all these players magically by the 4th of July so we could really invest in the squad. But the reality is the players that you're trying to move on as well, everyone's just out for themselves, looking for the best deal for them. And Sancho and his agents, again, they're not going to encourage him to rush this decision. They're not. The same way how he hasn't taken a pay cut at Chelsea shows you, like, they're in control of the situation because they've got the leverage. He's got a year left on this money, a year left with this contract. And as the window progresses as well, different opportunities arise. We see it all the time. There's teams where someone gets injured and they didn't expect it. There's teams whereby they see someone available and like, you know what, it's late in the window. There's an opportunity there. We'll take him on a year's loan and pay this much wages and that. There's teams that come to the forefront that the player wasn't expecting and go, actually, I don't mind Juve, but if someone from Bundesliga comes, that's what I probably just want to go to Germany. Like, just stuff that just happens. So it's never going to happen quickly. And then that's why I get it. Like, I know people want to cuss the hierarchy all the time and just call them clueless, but this is hard. This is really hard. Like I said, these same players could have been at City failing like this. And all right, maybe it's a bit better because of the money situation. They might be able to just pay a few of them off quick. But in terms of wanting the players to come to your team, it's still difficult.
They've got some players with ambition. So say with even like the Grealish situation, if they said to him, right, we're not going to play you this year, he would be like, well, I want to play in the World Cup. So I'm going to have to go and play football. Jadon Sancho, he's not going to play in the World Cup next year. I don't think he's got any interest in playing in the World Cup next year. He's so far removed from that. That is like, at least
that's why I think Rashford will definitely.
Yeah, you do have that kind of chip.
He's already in the England team.
Yeah,
as it stands, he's back in it.
Yeah, you can sort of go, look, mate, if you're not playing for a World Cup, how many more World Cups you got? This might be one of your last ones. So, you missed out on a Euros. Look how quickly things can change. So you want to be playing, mate. So and that will mean something to him. With Sancho, if you said, "Oh, World Cup, yeah," he'd be like, "So," and played for England in ages.
Exactly.
I'm not. I don't care unless he's had a conversation with Thomas Tuchel of like, "Oh, if you play, I'll get you back in the teams," kind of thing. But I don't know. So it's difficult. I just, like we said before, I wouldn't be shocked if he does go on loan somewhere, but he still sees out his contract at United and then just wants to go on like a big free transfer where he makes a lot of money next year. Because if he's a free agent, someone will take a chance on him. Of course they will, but it's just about paying Man United a transfer fee and then picking up the contract. People just won't be interested in that. And to be fair though, he is probably, what you would say with Sancho is he's playing a very dangerous game because it's how long are clubs like a Juventus, like a Chelsea, going to be willing to go in for him? Because football moves very quickly, doesn't it? So if you give it a couple more years, a club like Juve or Chelsea or Napoli or whoever might look at him and go, yeah, I would have gone for Sancho a couple of years ago, but there's other young players now that I'm interested in, or there's other players coming through I'm interested in. Football moves very, very fast, doesn't it? So I think he still trades on the fact that these big clubs are going to be interested in him, but very quickly they might not be. If you're not playing enough, football's a very much what have you done for me lately kind of business.
It moves on. Exactly. It moves on very, very fast, and you get left behind. Do you know what I mean? Tabra says, make United great again. I'm starting the movement. Do it. Let's do it. Catch Deal says, we all in for a shock, guys. What is in? Because we can't sell the players. And is that what you mean? I think that's what you mean. It's in for a shock.
After last season, nothing's a shock.
Because that's what I was going to say. That this can get worse, guys. I hate to be like too pessimistic. Isn't it, though?
Last year, Flex didn't have grey in his beard. By the end of the season, he was like, it's aged him.
Exactly, man. Like, we do have to, that's why I remember you, Owen, when you was quite non-committal a week ago or so, when KG was like, where do you expect we can get this high? And you're like, I just don't want to commit. Like, when you're 15th and you see what happened. Yeah. And it's true. And if we think, I'll be honest, I don't like negativity just for no reason. Like I said, it has to be context. But we shouldn't be completely naive. Like, this can get worse or stay as bad 15th. As it is. Yeah,
Ruben's won 6 games.
And also the realization that people need to understand about the lack of selling and how difficult it is to sell players. Where's this money going to come from? So, when I was like, please just give me 4 big signings minimum, that's me operating off the basis of like, I just know how hard that will be for us to even do. Obviously, I know we need like 6 minimum. We finish 15th, but it's not going to happen.
On top of that, like, Ruben still might not be the right guy. Like, you know what I mean? For like, even if
man.
Obviously, like, if we get players in, it still might not work.
Exactly.
As he will openly say, I've got no evidence to show you that it's going to work out for me here at United. I'm one of the worst coaches you've ever had. We're one of the worst teams we've ever had. So, yeah, I mean, KG was right when the season ended, and he went, I just don't want Man United to play for a while so I can become delusional again. And it's so true, because absence does make the heart grow fonder, doesn't it? If we don't see United play for a while, we can start, just copium. So over time, it can build back up, and you start going, right, new season, new us. But that's why, again, pre-season, I keep saying it. There's pre-season games. Like 45 minutes into that first one against Leeds in Sweden, we'll be like, oh, God, I remember this. I remember how difficult it is. Or if we play well, like, good. Yes, right. I can jump onto something, but yeah. Because there was a period once the season ended. There was a couple of weeks there where we were all feeling quite good because the season was over and transfers, and that's kind of gone again a bit, hasn't it?
Yeah, because again, this is what I mean. We go in peaks and troughs. We go in waves, isn't it? Because now we're like, right, about them sales.
Yeah, about those sales, about those signings, and Bumo's taking a bump.
So, like, we're supposed to be rebuilding and really showing the manager, like, here's your players, and like, here's the players you don't want, they're gone, like, you're right. And as it stands, on Monday, Ruben Amorim is walking back into Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho, Alejandro Garnacho. Well, everyone's walking back into everyone, isn't it? Apart from Nicho. He's injured, so...
And I don't know about you, I've really enjoyed my weekends not being just completely emotionally destroyed by...
Show, who said that? Who said that, Show? I didn't say that. That didn't come out of my mouth. And worse didn't come out of Owen's mouth. I really miss United playing, but he didn't say that at all. No. If I'm honest with you, I keep looking at my calendar going, next week. It's all going to start.
I keep looking for it going, still 4th, but August.
Because it literally, from then, there's going to be no rest through to the whole thing now, from next week.
And also, that first week, of course, will be a Super Sunday. So we're going to have to watch, and we'll probably be the last game on Super Sunday. So we're going to have to watch everyone play that weekend. On the Friday, Saturday morning, Saturday evening, we'll have to watch all of those games. And sometimes when that happens, you get quite excited. You're like, I can't wait to watch my team play because season started again.
Yeah,
and then you remember you support Man United and you go, oh, no.
It feels like keep the season off as long as possible. So, like, just no scrutiny on us. Everyone's not laughing at us again and but yeah, we'll see. Right, guys, big up to you, man. Thanks for watching the show this morning and getting involved in the show. What day is it? It's Friday, so Trinity
Friday.
Live. Yeah,
it's Trinity.
It's the Trinity, so big up to everybody.
Has Mr. the comedian confirmed that?
Well, he hasn't, but he hasn't not. So there hasn't been anything to suggest that it's not. So
this will be a test. KG, if you're watching this now, just send me a message. Sometimes he does watch them in the morning. Send me
Yeah,
a
that's
message
true.
saying,
Yeah.
you know,
You might
that
call
you're-
right now.
that you're definitely, definitely going to show up later.
Yeah.
We'll
All
see.
right, perfect. All right, guys, smash a like in the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new. We're out of here. Take care. Peace.